And I have a nice, great guest in our studio, the first English speaker, non-Lithuanian speaker guest in the studio is Max Riis Christensen, founder and CEO of localization company Mixlocal from Denmark. Hello, Max.
Hello.
How do you feel today?
I feel good. Yeah.
Okay, so yesterday we had an e-commerce conference in Vilnius, and Max was one of the speakers sharing his experience about localization of e-commerces, and I heard that it was a huge success. How do you feel yourself about yesterday's event?
I think it was a good event. It was nice being here and have the opportunity to speak. And of course I always like to speak about localization of web shops or internationalization of businesses, helping them into new countries. So I was happy for the opportunity.
And after your presentation, did people come to you and ask additional questions?
Yeah.
Were they interested in the topic?
Yeah. We had actually several visitors at our booth, so we were happy about the event. Yeah.
Okay, so then it means that we may expect some people on the other side of the screen watching now our discussion.
Yeah, hopefully. Maybe they missed out yesterday or didn't understand what I tried to explain, so they'll have the chance again today.
Yeah, and they will be able to ask questions directly, not waiting till the end of our conversation.
Yeah.
Please write your questions, we will see it on the screen, and Max will try to answer those questions.
Yeah.
So when it comes to localization, so we mainly know it is translation of websites, but as we heard yesterday, it's not just about that. So
no.
What else is included into this term?
Of localization?
Yeah.
Basically, I think it's very simple, because what you need to imagine is a web shop coming to your country, and how is this shop going to look and feel for you to be willing to place an order? So this has a lot to do with trust. Do they appear as a professional web shop? Do they offer the right payment methods that you are happy to use, you're used to use? Do you trust their return policy, and are you sure that they will refund you? If you have that feeling of a new web shop, then you're probably willing to place an order. And then you just turn around and imagine, if I'm going to Sweden with my web shop, can I give a Swedish person the same experience? And of course it has to do with translations, but it has to do with a lot of other things that gives this trust, and that's what you have to measure you up against.
So usually, from my experience from localization projects, so it was included like local payment methods, as you mentioned, also local phone number, of course customer care speaking on the local language, and yeah, sometimes people think it should be local domain name, or if it's not .eu domain name.
I would definitely take the local domain, and also because that's one of the cheap things you can do. It's not that expensive to have a .se domain in Sweden, for instance. So that's one of the easy wins you can have, and the list of things you can do are really long. There might be 50 things, and the domain name is one of the easiest of them, so that's just changing it. The local address and the local customer service is also very important, particularly in Sweden. Having a local person answering the phone is giving a lot of trust. Then, you know, in each country there are different elements. Some countries appreciate trust marks a lot, so in these countries, of course, it's important to consider that. But it's not a general thing you should do in all countries. So what we always recommend web shops to do is look at the specific country, talk with a specialist from that country, and figure out together with him or her which elements are important in this country, which is enough for you to turn a no to a yes when you have a customer in your web shop. Yeah, and you don't have to do everything. A good example is actually translations. In the Nordic countries in general, we are very good at English, or pretend to be at least, and this means that if you have your product text in English, most of us will understand it. So it's not an issue of understanding, it's more an issue of trust. And that trust can come with a local text, of course, but it's not because we don't understand it.
From my experience, I see that it's unavoidable to have a local expert who can give advice. For example, from my customers' experience who went to the same Sweden market. So they say that Swedes are very nationalistic, and they expect that all the service will be in Swedish and so on and so on. So domain name could very good that would be .se, but if it's Norwegian domain name, so it's also good for them, but not EU domain name, because somehow Orlus Nordic, it's kind of family, and it's okay, but like Eastern Europeans, so we keep a distance.
Yeah, and you know, maybe distance for the unknown. Everybody in Denmark and Sweden and Norway know persons from the other countries closely, and that's we're closer to each other. That's also why it's often easier for a Danish shop to launch in Norway than it is for a Danish shop to launch in Lithuania. They know the culture, they understand the language, most of it, so it's of course easier for them.
One customer said that it could be even a situation that you enter a meeting room and they hear that you speak English and not Swedish, and in some business like wood or construction or conservative businesses, they can just turn around and leave the room. Is it true, or just a myth?
I don't know that, if that's the case.
Yeah, maybe if you speak Danish, so maybe you're brother and neighboring country. So when we plan to go to a new market, so what we should think, we mentioned already several things, what's included in term of localization. What else is important to know?
But I think it's important to start another place actually, because before you start localizing your web shop, I think there are 3 things that you should test. First of all, you need to figure out, can I sell my products at a competitive price level in this market and still make money? And that's a very simple test. Take a look at the competition, figure out what is the selling price, and then can you match that? Can you match that with maybe a little bit higher delivery cost that you will have from Lithuania, and the other things that goes into that calculation. The other thing that is important is that your web shop